Alrighty. So I can officially welcome you to Big Performance Podcast. You are the first guest, and thank you for joining me today. It's awesome.
Thanks to you for having my first podcast. So it's gonna be for both.
Cool. Yeah, let's dive into it. The first question that I got is I will ask you to tell me a little bit about your story, how you end up doing what you do.
Okay, well, let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Ferran. I was born in Barcelona, in Spain, and I was raised there. And right now, I'm a full stack programmer. I'm a freelancer, so I get to travel what but let's go back to my childhood to understand how I got here. And as a kid, I was that kind who liked to disassemble toys and TVs, computers, anything that was like electronic or technology. I wanted to know like how is this working? So I was that kind of kid playing around with things, breaking down, disassembling, and just trying to understand and ask how does this work? How is this other thing doing this? Because I always had this kind of curiosity that I think that into programming. But later on, like I didn't have any programming knowledge until I was like 15. And I had this school teacher in school who he was teaching the subject of technology. And it was not meant to any coding or programming, but this guy was like, the cool kind of teacher who went out of the schedule, and he gave us this art board to every student. This thing like it's a real computer because it doesn't have its own operating system, but the programmable. Um, we had this LED, just very basic stuff, and I really loved when we had the code and we could like by simple commands. My mind there was like I can do whatever I want, with the computer, and it's
You got
wise.
this sense of like connecting to your actions to how technology performs.
Exactly. And that particular board, it's quite cool because it's not just like computer have just software in a screen, but you can attach like simple motors, simple engines, so you can build your own thing. Later on in high school, I built like simple this kind of thing that moves around the house with sensors to detect the distance to any object. So it was a kind of autonomous system. And it was like, well, to me, like I could do some coding and then the machine would tell whatever I told it to do. So at that point is when I started by myself also playing with coding and doing some small video games. And yeah, like few years later, I decided I would study computer science in university, which I think right now that it's not the best way to learn how to code because in the university you learn like the fundamentals of computing, like mathing things, but not actually coding. So when you start working after, you're like, okay, I don't know anything, but that's the
How long was your program? Because this is something I hear all the time, and this is what has been my experience as well. I went to learn linguistics, but apart from linguistics, I had a lot of hours doing other stuff not connected to my discipline, seemingly at all. And
yeah.
programmers, I also hear that, yeah, we have spent years on that, and we have been learning legacy systems that we
Yes.
touch again in our life.
Yeah, it's basically like that. The degree in Spain is 4-year degree, but I say that nobody finishes in 4 years. Normally people finish it for even 6 years because it's quite tough educational system. But I managed to finish in 4.5 years. So I just wanted to get rid of it. So that's why I motivated myself to finish as soon as possible. It's 4 year read. The first 3 you're basically learning maths, a little bit of physics, but not really programming. And the last 2 you learn little bit of databases and not actual coding in a work environment itself. You have an opportunity to have an internship, which I did because you also skip some subjects by doing so. At that moment, yeah, you can learn a little bit of the basic when you're working, but also in that environment, it's that I did not want to have this kind of full-time traditional job. And so I decided when I would finish this internship, I would become a freelancer, start traveling and so on. So that's what I did. Yeah, that was more or less trajectory.
That's interesting. Interesting that you had this in your sights straight away. The usual way is when you go to the companies, you work for a company while you are learning the skills, and then you kind of transition to freelancing when you are proficient, when
Yeah.
you know everything. But you saw like, oh, the company is not really for me. And after spending for 4.5 years getting the education, and it's like, oh, this company wants me to spend a few years with them. Like this is what employment means. They saying, oh, would you be a good candidate to work with us for years in this place with these people, not
Yes.
going anywhere?
Yes.
And you're like, no, 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 no,
Yes.
guys, miss me with that. And you went straight for freelance. How did that happen?
That's exactly what's happened. Is you were mentioning like everybody in my environment would say like, don't quit your job. Like they were offering good contract more or less. Is in terms of pay and salary, it was okay. So everybody was like, why would you quit? Like have some years of learning in the company and then you can move freelancing. But I was like very sure that it wasn't meant for me. Like just when I started it was like a bucket of ice in my head. This transition was just like straightforward. I had like some savings in my bank account because of that previous work, and I was living at my parents, so I didn't have much point. And another one of my passions is travel. Like let's combine the two, and right when I feel shift, I moved from Spain. I moved first, and then it's when I had this. First, I had like sort of like hard work of doing my own portfolio, working in projects on my own, so I could show to the clients. So in this period of time, was just draining my bank account slowly. But then when I was almost in a critical financial situation, it was started getting my first clients. So everything went very smoothly. It was like around 6 months. So like studying by myself every day, like doing course because as I said in university, you don't have that much learning in code coding or practices.
I get.
So
What's the story? How did you find your first clients?
freelancer, Fiverr, Upwork and stuff. And every day, like I was texting like, I don't know, hundreds of them. Like, so it was like every day communicating with them, trying to get clients. And also at the beginning, I thought like, I don't have that much to offer because I don't have a portfolio or background or experience. So, first clients didn't pay much of offering like easy, cheap work, but it was what came to the point that I am now. So I can now get like good big clients and charge much more. But yeah, you have to trust that it will come in the future. Some of my friends are in a more traditional job and they want to switch to freelancing, but afraid that it will take so many months. It's not like starting the second you have your client. It doesn't work like that.
And how did it evolve? Did any of this like small cheap clients become a like longer engagement, or you like got the feel of word of mouth and people referred better clients?
Both things happened actually. Small clients referred to some other. For one of them, there was like a really basic task, just introduction to some Android application, like fixing some bugs or something. The application was just starting, but then they liked me, how I worked and all. And this a full time, like, yeah, to this day, I'm still working it. And it's been like 3 years, I think. And yeah, so some of these small projects then became bigger ones, and so people referred me to other companies, like building up slowly and slowly. I also got to take a better website for myself, showcase every client that put, put in my good portfolio in there. So it was up. And in these platforms, you get also feedback and reviews by the client. So every time you get more and more offers, so it's snowball effect. Like first is small, but it's growing. And that's a very cool thing about that.
That's cool. My next question was, what's your unique and fair advantage in what you do?
Okay, this one is tricky because I think I have like a particular unfair advantage, but I want to say two advantages that I think I got as a programmer. And the first of all is that I love to learn new stuff, and it's an advantage in this field because it's evolving so fast. I mean, continuously, you will not be worthy for the market. So in 2 years, if you didn't update yourself, you won't be valuable anymore. So I love to learn, and for me, it's not big to every day have like 1 hour of learning some tutorials, reading, and this is something that I think it's an advantage because some of my colleagues don't like to do art much. It's more like they try to avoid it, but it's something that you need to do. Apart from that, I would say that I'm very persistent. And when I have a goal, like when I my job and I was thinking about freelancing, I had this goal and I would never quit until I accomplished it. So I think that's another advantage plays in my favor.
Well, definitely. I think that from what you're saying is when a developer top kind of thinks that, oh, all right, I've got experience, I've got knowledge, I'm okay, and they stop developing, I think they digress to from a developer to just worker.
Yeah.
You can do what you already know, but if you are not developing as a person, maybe you cannot tell yourself that you are a developer.
Yes, I would very much agree with that. And it's something that I see many programmers have this will to learn and study all the time. It's not playing in their advantage for sure. And we have now AI, which transforms everything. The knowledge part you can more outsource to this AI, and you don't have to be the best in this programming language, but the AI can help you. But to learn how to use it and adapt to this new model of.
It's interesting. Do most programmers enjoy this current transition towards assisted AI assisted processes, or just worrying takes more part, saying if it gets any smarter, it will replace me. And they're like,
Yeah, exactly. I've seen this second version or people who hear about their job being taken by AI. To be honest, the beginning one started, I was also a little bit, I won't lie to you. I started playing with it because I think that the fear comes from not knowing, like when you start playing with it and you what it can do and what it can't do, I think that then not fearful anymore because then, okay, this is gonna be my ally and not my enemy. But at least for now, everything can change in the future and maybe I'm jobless. What do you think about this AI trend thing?
I really like how it levels the playing field for creatives, and I think I can even grasp the quality improvement in things like marketing brief for website development. I can see it was made by ChatGPT, but it's better than what I would got
Okay.
if they tried to make it themselves. So I see this way like the client typing their words, maybe not like complete vision, not in the way that another person would understand it. But ChatGPT takes that, thinks, all right, I can make sense of it, and creates me a clear brief that I can easily understand and like hop on the next stage with the client. And I'm all for it. Yeah. If the
Yeah.
client did not use ChatGPT while creating this task, I might lose this client because I didn't get what they're trying to say.
Yeah. I understand.
With creative professionals, I think it would be a shame to be afraid of this technology. Like, yeah, you're doing the thing really, really good, but there is a way to automate parts of your process and do more work. And I think that this is where the power comes. Your products become cheaper over time because more people have access to AI assisted processes and they become better. So the price goes down. But those same AI processes let you create more. And when you are a creative person, maybe creating more is what you need to do. Maybe even if you don't have to use your pen and pencil every day, but use AI assisted processes instead. I think we all should adapt to it, or people who did adopt the technology will just take our jobs. I don't think that AI by itself will take over. It will be taken over by engineers who did go into it and then talk to creatives, got all these processes built for those creatives. And also, this more harsh situation tells people to evolve more. Maybe instead of being a solo creator and, oh, my job is in danger because of AIs, maybe you need to get together with a few other creators and collaborate on something cooler, something bigger, something that AI cannot replicate at this point in time.
Yes, I agree completely. In programming, I think pretty much the same that you said. Like, it's not like somebody without any programming skill will be able to develop an application, something complex, maybe some simple website, okay. But the complex things, you will need still an engineer to work with those AIs. Like this job will disappear. Oh, I think we're on the same page.
What would be the situation where your unique set of skills is super on point and super valuable? What is your best scenario client who you can charge a lot of money because of the huge value that you can give in this specific scenario?
Okay, that's a question. I would say I like to work with startups and smaller companies. I had bad experiences with the bigger companies that they are supposed to be more professional. but I didn't feel like it. Sometimes they and stuff like that when I texted them, and they were like interested in me, but that didn't answer to my offer. So, but our companies, startups, I enjoy that they are being innovative. You know that I like this industry of China and cryptocurrency, and right now I will be joining a client in this industry. This is kind of my ideal client. Few days ago, I signed with them, and they are like a rather small team of like 20, but very passionate and young people. They are going to do very cool stuff. And when they explained to me the project, I was like, I mean, like everything has been aligned for me to work with them. I say they all work remotely around the world. The CEO is from, but they have people here in South America and anywhere, or even Asia. I will be starting with them soon, so I cannot say how has been the, but it looks like it's gonna be really cool. They build tokens in the Solana chain. For me, it's something that can help people or
Just like how tokens in Solana chain can drive significant social impact.
I mean, okay, that's it. But I think this can be applied in many ways, like in implementing NFTs for selling. Yeah, for me, blockchain that democratizes the knowledge and it put everybody in like the same place. So there is not like party that can take power over other. For me, that's the philosophy behind blockchain. So company that works in this industry for me is it's aligned with my values.
Awesome team that you are aligned with in terms of values. Have you seen Rick and Morty? They had an episode about the perfect heist, and it reminded me
I
about this, like the son of a bitch. I mean,
yes, it was more or less like
the perfect scenario, the perfect.
yes.
For me, I really uh, look forward to better playing field in terms of asset ownerships. So when I can buy a house as an NFT, and it will be this ownership of this house would be recognized by whatever uh, country, I will be like, cool. I'll go to Solana and I will see this new flourishing marketplace where you can just buy ownership of the house and it be like, okay.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. That you put it in the housing is a very good example. Big amount of money you won't be able to buy. But with NFTs and they so you can split down the whole part of the house in smaller anybody can buy like small one. And you will still have the return of investment house will have will be available for everyone to enter like many different markets.
Well, I would be the very first one that would go along for fractional ownership of something like uh, living co-working spaces. For example, young people cannot afford a house straight away, but they, after working a few years, becoming better and better, they can afford a fraction of the bigger house with the stuff that they need in like common areas like sports thing and co-working place. And that's actually what they need. They don't need a big house to take care of, but like fractional ownership of like this piece of this action is very cool. And it's a sustainable alternative to renting the place. So instead of renting, you take over this NFT that is this room in this co-working park of sorts. And when you don't need it, when you go somewhere else, You sell this NFT to the next person who just gets it and owns it while he needs it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Exactly. That's a very good example. And also another thing that blockchain, which the common world doesn't, is that nobody take your ownership of that. For example, I buy a house in Spain, I some papers and stuff, but in 5 years they have to build a road will go just pass by my house. They will have to demolish it, maybe they something, but it won't be the full price of the house. And I just my my ownership and everything that is on the block, it will remain in the blockchain. Maybe in the example of the house, they trade, but in everything that is digital, like NFTs or any piece of information, it will stay there and nobody will be able to take it. So that's also very important for me.
I think intellectual property would be the closest to adoption. Is easiest to move. Actually, it's not like there is a record that you own this piece of technology that is a like or intellectual property like trademark. If you have an NFT or like filled into blockchain this thing, you can prove. You say, oh, there is the date. There is my thing. I minted. I put it there. That's cool.
No politician will be able to just change the record because they want. So, yeah.
I think we will be wrapping up. Thank you for coming. I think it was very insightful and very useful for many people that start on the uh, career as developers. I think your experience people can follow because you're sharing the things that really work, and it really matches the core idea of this podcast where we talk about performance rather than productivity.
That's a very cool thing. And thank you for having me. It was like very experience to have this first podcast for me. So yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. My pleasure, man.